Alright folks, welcome back. Welcome back to another Skidoo Expedition video. In this video we're going to be talking about what I think of this sled on a groomed trail. That was one of my biggest questions I had when I ordered this sled, was how it went on groomed trails. The primary purpose of this sled for us was for ice fishing, but I also was really curious to see how these were on the trails, and I honestly found very different opinions of how these were on groomed trails. And that's a very popular question I get about these expeditions, is how they handle on the trails. People are trying to find out the same information I was. So that's what this video is primarily going to be about. I'm going to be talking pretty much about trail riding in this video. And this is the 22 SE 900 Turbo. This was a late arrival. This arrived an entire season late because of all the COVID garbage. So I had a full 23 season and we're wrapping up a full 24 season. So just my overall thought of this on the trail is I'm actually very pleased with how this handles on the trail. I was really thinking this would be bulky, it would feel big and heavy, and I really don't notice either of them on a nice groomed trail. This is very comfortable, it handles fine. I don't notice the 20-inch wide tunnel compared to like a 15 or a 16. I find it's very comfortable to ride on. As I have this set up right now, I don't have the two-up seat of the box just because I'm doing some off-trail field riding. But we do have the two-up seat that my daughter has primarily ridden on. So usually if we're on the trail, we have the two-up seat if I'm with my daughter. If not, I usually don't bring it. And sometimes I bring the box, sometimes I don't. But just talking about that seat real quick, my daughter loves it. She feels really safe and comfortable back there. All right guys, that's the first night ride. Just a phenomenal sled. What do you think, Rye, on your end? Comfy? Felt safe back there? And sort of kind of piggybacking off that, the suspension I feel like on these is pretty good right from the factory. This is the SE, so it has the air ride suspension, so I can adjust the suspension right from the handlebars, which I think is pretty handy. If I'm riding by myself, I usually run it at about a 3. If my daughter gets on the back, I bump it up to a 4 or a 5. And it's really handy to be able to do that right from the handlebar here versus having to get onto the sled and do it with a key. I know a few folks put aftermarket shocks in the rear here. I haven't done that yet. It may be something I do in the future, but overall, I think the suspension is pretty good. The overall handling, up through the handlebars here, I feel like is very comfortable. I don't feel like I have to muscle this sled around like I thought I would. My daughter has driven this probably 100 miles on the trail, and she's been able to handle it fine. She just turned 15, so she was 14 when she was riding it. Front suspension I feel like is pretty good. A lot of the trail rides we took were pretty bumpy, unfortunately, just because of the lack of snow, and I feel like the up front suspension is pretty good right from the factory. And again, I know people put aftermarket shocks up in the front, which again is something I may do down the road, but as this sits right now, this is pretty much bone stock right from the factory. The only real add-on I did is I think they call it the Silent Ice Cobra track with the picks built right into the track, and I like that. I feel like that's good on some of the icier trails that we've been on. And as far as the turbo aspect of this, I've been really happy with the turbo so far. I haven't had one problem with it. This sled has all the power I want / we need for this sled, especially if I'm riding with my daughter. I don't even really need to get into what I would call like the turbo power. If I'm riding by myself, I like to get on the throttle a little more. And you can definitely notice with a turbo that you have quite a bit more power there than just a standard 900 Ace. I've ridden a 900 Ace, and there is a noticeable difference between the Ace and the turbo. So I'm really happy with the turbo when I'm riding solo. I feel like this keeps up with an average riding group. If you have a really fast group that you ride with and you want to be right up there in the front, this may not be the sled for you. But outside of that, if you're not looking to be first in a group on a trail, this keeps up pretty well on the trail. But overall, I'm happy with the platform. I'm really happy with how it goes on the trail. I think this sled excels with a passenger. This whole platform I think is awesome for riding double with somebody on the back. Even a single rider, I feel like it's fun on the trail. But I also like being able to push it off trail like I am here. We're in like 20 inches of snow right now, and it's actually starting to, get a little on the wet and heavy side because we got some rain coming, so it's a little warm today. But this thing just goes. I haven't got stuck with this thing once, and I'm seeing more and more of these expeditions on the trails up here in Maine. As the years go, I see more and more of them. They're everywhere on our lakes and ponds, but I'm seeing more and more of these on the trail. And anytime I cross paths with one, whether it's at a gas station, a store, a stop, a trail marker, I always stop and talk with people and see what they think of them. I honestly haven't heard one bad thing about these expeditions, and most of the folks that I've talked with that run these on the trail have had a double rider, and they said they wanted to go this route over like a grand touring. They just felt like it would be a better option. So that's kind of a common theme I've been seeing. But my overall report from other people, just talking with them on the trail systems, have also been very good. There's a lot of 900 aces up here. I've seen a lot of 900 turbos. I've seen a couple 600 aces. I haven't seen a lot of the EFI engine, but the 900 ace is by far probably the most popular one I see up here in Maine. But just to summarize my overall thoughts of this platform, I really like it on the trail. I like my specific engine option, the 900 turbo. I feel like that meets what I wanted. I like the SE platform, being able to adjust the air ride suspension right from the handlebars, I think is awesome. And something else I like about this platform is the storage that comes with this. I like the storage back here. I fit a ton of gear back here. This little storage up here is usually where I keep my keys and my cell phone. Obviously the big box back there, you can fit a ton of stuff, for like a day trip. So I feel like all the storage you can fit in these is very convenient. Everything up front here is pretty basic. I mean, I like the sport mode. I don't run it in sport mode much, but the eco mode, my daughter, when she was getting used to the sled, she pretty much was running that in eco mode, so that's pretty handy to be able to change that right from here. I mean, everything else is pretty standard up here, up front. I mean, not much to really talk about, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is just kind of the fit and finish of all this stuff I'm pretty happy with. I feel like it's laid out pretty good. The handlebars are very warm, actually a little too warm for me. They actually kind of cook me right out of my glove, so I usually run the setting on like 2 or 3. But overall, I mean, all this stuff I feel like is pretty handy, pretty comfortable for trail riding. So overall, my opinion on this expedition on the trail is very good. I think it's a very good trail sled. The only thing I tell people is if you want a trail sled, you want to be, really riding fast and aggressive, and you want to be first in the pack, this may not be the sled for you. But outside of that, I feel like this is a good option for a lot of people. And we're going to wrap it up there, folks. Just a real quick one here. I don't feel the need to drag it out any more than I did. If you guys have any questions on this platform, feel free to fire away down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.